1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson. Carl Schoening. Halftime.
Gather round. Halftime. He's Carl Schoening. I'm Rob Thompson. Thanks for joining us. Got an abbreviated version for you today. Rangers Angels getting started. First pitch just a little bit after 1 o'clock. We'll take you all the way there. How you feeling today, Carl?
Pretty good. Can't complain. A little tired. I was up late watching Team USA. Had a little trouble getting back to sleep.
Jamming. Is this significant?
Is this the generational gap song?
Likely. I just want to know if y'all are ready for some football.
Oh, yeah. There you go. This is a generational gap song then. Yeah, because it was this was a pretty popular song before it was redone, right?
I guess. I think of the Faith Hill version.
That's what I'm thinking of.
More than the Hank Williams. But Hank, all the Rowdy friends are coming over tonight. We are ready for some football. That's right. Dallas Cowboys do kick off the 2021-22 campaign, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers up there in Ohio, right next door to the Hall of Fame. They're going to play in a high school football stadium, and let's hope the quality of football is better than that. Although the quarterbacking might be in question, we'll look closely at the Cowboys. They arrive in Canton -8 starters, taking on a Pittsburgh Steelers team with what we've been told is a newly rejuvenated Ben Roethlisberger, thinner, we're told, and a Najee Harris. You fantasy football types probably going to be paying close attention to Najee. I think that guy is going to be a top 5 running back drafted in a lot of leagues.
It does seem like Ben Roethlisberger won't be playing tonight either, though.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised to see him not playing at all. I mean, it's a newly. He's lost some weight. Steelers should be good, but minus their guard, they lost to Castro. I wouldn't be playing Roethlisberger out there, even if the Cowboys are going to arrive without DeMarcus Lawrence. We'll tell you who's playing and who's not. Lots of basketball talk, both inside the Spurs organization and outside, though there's a Spur involved, I think, or a former Spur involved in just about every basketball conversation we're going to have today. If you stayed up late, you watched Team USA down the Aussies, though it wasn't easy, coming from 15 down there in the second quarter. Patty played well, but KD is becoming KD, and Drew Holiday played extraordinarily well. We got a chance to see the young dudes, at least some of them, in the Spurs Salt Lake City pre-Vegas basketball tournament. That game came on last night about, 7:30, 8 o'clock?
That was around a 6 o'clock tip last night.
Got to see just DV3. Are we going to settle on that or Devin Gazelle?
Devin Gazelle is the better
Gazelle.
nickname.
That does feel good, right?
The way he runs, it's not a deer, but it's a gazelle. You've heard that phrase, jumps like a deer, runs like a deer.
Yeah.
Deer aren't always good basketball players, though. Ask
the Bucks. The debut of Josh Primo. He's got something. I can see what Brian Wright's saying. I can see what RC and Pop and everybody that's in the scouting department with the Spurs saw. He's got something.
He ain't scared.
No, not afraid. Looks like he's about 12. Looks like his mom dropped him off at the game.
A 6'6", 12-year-old.
Seen him. I've seen him.
Doesn't shave.
Not since B.J. Armstrong as a player looked that young on an NBA court. I can't think of anybody who looked any younger. And there's some maturation there, but I hate when you do comparisons to greats, it's never fair.
No.
But there is some Kobe-ness to him. A little bit, you can see it. He wants to embarrass you. He wants to inflict his will on you, and he wants you to remember him when the game is over. I like him.
He almost had the dunk of the night.
Yes.
He went right at the rim, would have been a monster throwdown. I didn't know he had that kind of explosion in him.
At 18, he's going to put on frame. He's going to put on strength. He's going to put on muscle. It's going to be a bit. But, yeah, we can see it. We can see it. Austin's going to have a good time this year. This guy's going to be successful. But really this week, this and next week as we head into the Vegas Summer League, this is Devin Vassell's quince. I'll keep saying it. This is his coming out party. This is his introduction to the world as he is imminent to start, I assume, with the Spurs, and it was a worthy beginning. He did have the dunk of the night.
The putback slam,
Yes.
yeah, he also finished with 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. And that defensive end of the ball is where he's going to shine. He can also shoot. A 3-and-D guy right away, starting next year when he really gets to crack the rotation on a regular basis.
When you say next year, you're talking about the 22 season? Okay, yeah. 3-and-D. That's the key, right? We got 18 guys that can do it. Spurs add another player, Chandler Hutchison. See, we were in the market for a 6'6", 6'7" guard who plays some wing defense. We're a little short on them. We've only got 7 of them.
They added a 2022 second-round pick. Only had to give up the rights to Nikola Milutinov.
Our favorite Slav. That's a lot of Spurs.
It is, and you've been saying all along, and it makes sense. There has to be something up because I can't see the Spurs just cutting $15 million worth of salary just to be dead cap space.
Just to chew on it for a bit. Yeah, there's something happening. We're going to look at that. The Spurs have acquired a lot of players. We picked up even more draft picks. Where are we at? 3 second-rounders we've accrued over the last 2 days and a first over the next 4 years. Something is in the wind. Something is. Ben Simmons, by reports, has separated himself from the Sixers. All communication is going through his agent, Rich Paul. You've got to feel like Portland has still got to do something. We know Golden State has dangled Kelly Oubre and others. We know the Spurs have been mentioned as one of the favorites to go get Ben Simmons. Philadelphia, they don't have him. There is a whopping deal floating around out there. I didn't even bring up Lowry Markkanen, who might end up just falling back with the Bulls with $9 million qualifying, but I don't think they have room for him, or nor do they want him. I think they need some salary cap relief. They might want to move him. It just feels like there is some movement there. Team USA, as they beat the Aussies, they beat not only a former Spur, but a new Spur. The Strap. Jock. 6'10" big. I liked him.
We're going to have to come up with a new nickname. Something better. I know
What's
that's
wrong
your
with the
favorite.
Strap? That's a good nickname.
I like it, especially the way he played last night against Kevin
Strap,
Durant.
man. That's a positive. He's strapped on him, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You name Jock, you're going to get it. But he'll earn a better one. But I am a newly I'm in. I'm completely in. And he might be part of some future deal and never be a Spur, but he certainly feels like a Spur. And he has been Simmons' friend. They do go back. But what were your thoughts on Jock last night?
He had the unfortunate situation of being matched up against an angry Kevin Durant, who played the best defensive game I've ever seen Kevin Durant play. And I've seen Kevin Durant go all the way back to Texas. That was a locked-in, not going to lose this game Kevin Durant. He led by example, and when he got hot, the rest of the team picked up confidence.
France topped Slovenia today, ending Luka Doncic's 16, 17 game unbeaten streak as an international player.
17-1 now.
Last minute block by Nick Batum to save the game. The Team USA will be playing the French tomorrow morning or Friday morning. Or tomorrow is Friday morning. Tomorrow morning.
9:30 p.m. tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
So it's early. Yes, it's an earlier game than it's been around 11. I don't know what time that translates to Tokyo time.
It'd be about 9:30 in the morning, 9:30, 10:30 in the morning,
early.
Saturday morning.
For a gold medal match? I need to double check that. I'm pretty sure I read it right, but that's early.
If they played at 11 o'clock last night, that was right about noon for them. So, yeah, the schedule's off. Just like the soccer teams are petitioning to move their game because it's going to be hot for the gold medal match, let them move it. We're not going to be watching it live anyway. Move it to wherever you want. You broadcast it later. And if they want to wake up later for a better game, let Team USA sleep in. Cowboys playing tonight, and we're looking closely at the NFC East today. Jalen Hurts might very well be on the trade block, or at least be Philadelphia might be interested. Late word today, and this is music to James Pledger's ears, that there seems to be a little ratcheting up of conversations regarding Deshaun Watson and getting him out of away from the Texans. There was an interesting timeline that was floating around yesterday. James, explain to me exactly what we're seeing, because there was a conversation, a huddle, if you will, with a safety in Houston. His name, an oddly placed safety. Deshaun Watson now playing safety for your Houston Texans, where he leaves the field. There's huddle up, he leaves the field. Yep. And then there's activity just about at the same time up in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. There's a meeting of the minds between the GM and the head coach and other people on the field as they're a couple of days into seeing what Jalen Hurts has to offer the Philadelphia Eagles for the 2021 season.
Carl, you're an Eagles fan. Would there be — Philadelphia is a notoriously tough crowd, no matter what. But will there be anger from the fans that they've brought in an alleged and accused sexual predator? Will the fans lose it? Will Jeffrey Lurie lose it? Or will it be Philadelphia is all about the win? They've survived the Michael Vick thing. Just play.
It'll definitely rub people the wrong way, almost no matter what fan base you have. But the Eagles are a forgiving fan base, as you see with Michael Vick. I'm sure there were people who still were rubbed the wrong way, but there were people who also said he paid his debt to society. That's where things are up in the air. What is Deshaun Watson's punishment going to be? What is the eventual end game of all of this? Because Michael Vick came out of jail. So he had already paid his debt to society. Right. He had already been found guilty. This is such a, why are we going to trade our starting quarterback for a guy that might be out 8 weeks? The Eagles fans would not like that.
Minimum.
They would
might
not
go to
like
jail.
that.
I mean, there could be, you trade for him and the litigation takes some time, year and a half from now, suddenly there's a trial and he's on trial criminally. Yeah, I could see where Eagle fan would get upset with that.
Yeah, I really don't see it happen. And I looked into this because as an Eagles fan, I see that report trending late, and I'll give everybody a little journalism 101. Sources is what you need, not source. Sources. You need two sources. One will tell you the information, and a second one to objectively back up that information. Chris Trapasso from CBS was the one who reported it, and it is source. Talks are heating up between Eagles and Texans on a Deshaun Watson trade. Still some hurdles to get over. Both sides are attempting to come to an agreement. And that has been rebuked by Mark Florio from Pro Football Talk.
Mike Florio.
Mike Florio. As well as Aaron Wilson, who is I'm getting the chain. Yeah. As well as Aaron Wilson, who's a former Houston Chronicle. In. Yeah. So those guys I trust over somebody who legitimately says source. You need sources. And the second source is giving us some counter information here. I don't believe this.
You don't think this is things have ratcheted up at all?
I do not.
As an Eagle fan, are you comfortable with Hurts being your quarterback?
Yes.
Okay.
Because at the moment, that 52% completion percentage that he had last year, a little inflated because they were telling him to throw the ball away instead of take sacks. And he had to run for his life with a banged up offensive line. Mm-hmm. Give him a second-year development. That's fine with me. They're all in on Hurts. If they had gone in with Wentz, I'm all in on Wentz. But I think they chose the right guy there.
I'm all in as a Cowboy fan. I'm all in as Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. What you got, Jim?
I was just saying, and you talked about Aaron Wilson earlier. Now, make it be known. There have been talks with these two teams, and Aaron Wilson only came out and said nothing is imminent.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely conversations going on. You don't have a player like Deshaun Watson who's demanded a trade, and you don't at least inquire about what the cost is. But the teams are at least far apart enough that nothing is imminent, as you said.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to go to jail. I think unless something else shows up. And there's always that. There might be something still floating out there. But I think with the current accusations and the current situation with the Houston AD, I don't think there's jail time imminent with this. But there is suspension.
And there's something serial about this. He went to 40, 50, 60 massage therapists in a year and a half? As a pro athlete, you find your 2 or 3 people that you go to for recovery.
This wasn't about that.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is a serial nature to it, and it seems to be just on the other side of criminal, but not to the extent that there was an individual instance that was enough to get him time. You know what I mean? There might be a sum total and some kind of, I can't see where he goes to jail criminally. I do think on the other side, on the civil side, this is going to cost him some money, either as a payout or as a settlement or as some sort of defined settlement from a judge to make these young ladies whole after all this. I don't think he's going to jail is my premise here. So if you knew that you've got him for 5 years, he's got 4 more years on this deal.
He's got a 5-year extension. There's still 5 years.
There's a
on this.
long
It's just
time
now kicking in.
to have Deshaun Watson. Once you get him, you got him. Unless he, turns into your other typical pampered and overly eager to leave quarterbacks like Aaron. You got Deshaun. I would be willing to sacrifice half a season if it was to come next year or the year after, especially if I thought this year I'd get him and any punishment wouldn't come until next. I'll work around it. I'll get an entire offseason to figure out what I'll do for 8 games. But if I can get a Deshaun Watson in the boat for 4 years, I think I would be willing to sacrifice 8 games. Then again, I'm not the GM, and GMing is easy.
It's not your job on the line if you make the wrong move.
Well,
It's fun to do it from this booth.
We want to make sure you're fully informed. Carl is busy. Carl, you have no idea the avenues he takes to get the news that you need every day in the teens in that first 15, 20 minutes of the show. It's known as halftime. Carl counts them down. It's time for Carl's countdown.
All right, the headlines you need to know. Headline 2, this happened yesterday. Washington Wizards get Spencer Dinwiddie to sign and trade deal that gives him 3 years, $62 million to join the team in D.C. That was part of a 5-team deal in which the Spurs were able to bring in Chandler Hutchinson and a second-round pick.
I don't expect him to fly in anytime soon. I don't think they're going to unveil him here in San Antonio.
Don't get that apartment quite yet in San Antonio. Maybe see when we do have some preseason scheduled to get to a little later. And if he's still on the roster, then he better find us a place to stay. All right, headline 1. Dennis Schroeder is running out of options on free agent market as he turned down $84 million extension reportedly at midseason. It's almost like Kelly Oubre and Lowry Markkanen. He thought he was worth more than he is, and then when he tried to get it, he should have taken the money that was there on the table.
Looking at the Wizards, they've been busy, but they've been spinning their wheels. I've made a lot of moves, but this team isn't any better. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. He is a respected NBA dude, a starter in this league. I don't think anybody would question that. But if I'm Bradley Beal and I'm sitting over in Tokyo watching what my Wizards are doing, and I'm flying home to a team of Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, Rui Hachimura, and Thomas Bryant, I'm not all that excited.
Well, that didn't do it for you?
I'm not sure that really floats my boat.
That's not getting you all the warm and fuzzies over there in Tokyo?
You forgot about Davis.
Davis, yeah, I guess so. Day to day, he's kind of dinged up. But yeah, they got some Davis, and they got some KCP here, and Daniel Gafford, who I'm a fan of. I think that he's a bouncy big that I wouldn't mind seeing. They get some Montrezl Harrell in there, but Bradley Beal is not done crying. This is no better than it was.
So yesterday, Bradley Beal did the think emoji, and that was the tweet.
Yeah.
And then his wife tweeted something along the lines of, "Oh, wow," with ellipses, ... So they're either trolling us on social media or Bradley Beal is just fed up with all of this, and he's probably going to ask for a trade once he's done with his gold medal game.
Well, this is a mess. He and Dollar Dame got something to complain about. They can both sit and bitch, both of them.
I hope they are trolling us because it would just be funny at the end of it. But I also think when it comes to any of these star players right now, there's a whole lot of equity in the bank, especially after that first summer league game with the Golden State Warriors.
True.
You look at what Moody did and Kuminga, and you've already got Wiseman, and you've got some future firsts. You've got the basis of getting a star to pair with the other stars.
Golden State could field 2 teams. One of them would be competitive in the East. One of them might even make the playoffs on the bottom of the East. That's a lot of talent there. Onward on the countdown.
Yeah, they are ready for their post-Steph Curry life. And headline 0, the Knicks' Julius Randle. He likes what the Knicks did in offseason, and he also likes money. He agrees to a 4-year, $117 million contract extension following his MVP caliber season up in New York.
I don't think he got paid as much as I thought he was going to get paid. I think that Hawks series, again, exposed. He had a great year, and certainly he had an MVP-worthy year as far as what he did for his Knicks, but it's kind of a low. It's because he can't shoot, right? He only goes left. Atlanta exposed him. He helped them, but I'm a fan of Julius Randle. I would have thought he was going to get a bit more because that franchise is going to be a lot of fun. He's going to be a cornerstone there, but I guess maybe that's why.
It averages out to $29.25 million a year.
It's good money, no question. And in New York,
I'd take it.
Well, considering when you negotiate in New York, you're negotiating against a tax that you wouldn't have to pay elsewhere. So not only did he not get what I thought he would get, upwards of mid-30s, but he's going to be taxed in that New York dollar amount, and he's going to make even less.
So Tavares brings up a question here, and we actually did read this article. Did you guys read the whole article from the Ringer slamming the Spurs organization?
Yeah, Tavares, thanks for jumping in. And if you want to talk with us, there's lots of ways to do that. Get on our YouTube channel. You can go back and forth with us there. Our Facebook feed that is landing, of course, on Facebook, and that's SA Sports Star, but you can also check it out at our website, sasportstar.com. It's really the easiest way to come back and forth with us. The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are always waiting for you, and you're always welcome for that. That's 656-3776, 656 ESPN to those of y'all that can spell. And you can also reach out to us on the Twitters, and you know where they are probably, at Carl ESPN. That's with a K. I'm at Rob Thompson ESPN, and I am Pledger for James. And we're going to look at that. There is an article out in the Ringer today, a source of renown. I appreciate what the Ringer offers, by Jonathan Jarks. And the way he spells his last name, you might want to go find it yourself. It's TJARKS. And we're endeavoring to have Jonathan on, if not by tomorrow, early next week. He's based out of Texas. He's a basketball writer for the Ringer.
What's that name again?
Jarks. TJARKS. I don't know how you would say
One
it.
last time.
I'm not wearing the chain.
Do you know how to say it?
No. I just really enjoy hearing him say Jarks.
Jarks, like jorts. Did you know there's a T in front of the J in jorts?
I had no clue.
Well, it's in the back pocket when you buy them. It says how to say them. So Jonathan Jarks, this is the headline of his article. The Spurs turn the page and look ahead to what exactly? What exactly are we looking forward to? There has been more activity in the Spurs front office over the last week than there has been in 10 years. I mean, they've been busy. Drafts, trades, free agents. But where do we sit today? According to Jonathan, not any better off than we were before we began all this. That after all the wheeling and dealing that began when Kawhi wanted out, we have negotiated ourselves to a virtual into mediocrity, that we have not returned on our investment, found a cornerstone. Now, we think we might have in Keldon Johnson, but the drafts haven't turned out. We got Kawhi at 15. We had a 12 pick, and maybe Primo will turn out to be great, but we haven't brought in anybody that we can hang the mantle on as the heir apparent. We have brought in a bunch of moderately good players, right? Keldon's the cornerstone, the untouchable one. DeJounte is the most famous outside of San Antonio. When people look at San Antonio and they talk about trade bait, they bring up DeJounte, though those of us here know that Derek White is equally as valuable as DeJounte on this team. In fact, in this article, I appreciate what Jark said, and this is something that the Spurs are going to have to find an answer for one way or the other, because it is, in fact, true that Derek White and DeJounte Murray play the same game. They are 2 point guards that get in each other's way. This is a quote directly from his article. Murray and White have the same strengths and weaknesses. Both are defensive-minded slashers who need the ball and aren't comfortable spotting up in the perimeter. White attempted a career-high 6.8 threes per game last season, but made them only at a 34% clip. That's a Spur for you. That still put him ahead of DeJounte, who's one of the worst shooters at his position. 31% from three on only 3 attempts a game. He might have hit one a game if we were lucky. Now, Chip England's been a miracle worker. We've seen it over and over, and they're still working on it. But those are the guards that we've accumulated. We didn't add to that. Maybe Primo will change it. Lonnie is a shootist. Still hasn't found his way in. Devin Vassell, we really don't know. Are we what Jark says? This is the question that we need to jump off with. Is the fundamental problem with San Antonio that the players that we've drafted and the stars that we've had to exit have left us exactly where we were? In fact, when you compare us against the other Western Conference teams, most of them already have bad teams, by the way, non-playoff contending teams. Most of these guys have already found what they believe to be their cornerstones. You look at what the Kings have done. They got De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. You look at where the Pelicans sit. Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Timberwolves, Carl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Only the Rockets with Jalen Green, and I would argue that Christian Wood should be included in that.
And Kevin Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr. They are already Porter Jr.'s got to prove something to me, but I'll give you the other two. And then there's only the Thunder, who can point at only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and 117 first-round draft picks for the next 10 years. That's what it feels like they've got. Where do the Spurs, in comparison with those that we're competing against, where do we stand up? When you look at that, we're no better off today than we were 2 days ago. That's according to Jarks.
It's a pretty bleak outlook on what the way he writes it. And I see his points. I do. This is essentially what the Spurs have been building up to since they drafted DeJounte in 2016. All of their first-round picks are still on their roster from that point. And also throw in Jakob, who was 9th overall in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. They have a lot of talent, first-round picks, and usually that does translate to wins. However, you need that MVP candidate to be a contender. You need that second guy that could make the all-star game to be a contender. The Spurs at this moment don't have any all-NBA on their all-NBA guys on their roster.
Got an Olympian. Two Olympians.
This is the time
strap
to
and
just
big body. That's 2 Olympians.
That's true. That's true. This is the year that all of it has been accumulating to. This is finally the year that the Spurs don't have a veteran that has made an all-NBA team like a DeMar, like a Tim, like a Kawhi, that just go out there and be the leader. Who is going to be the best player on the Spurs next year?
Who do you think?
If he stays healthy, probably Derek White. If they get him in a trade, definitely Ben Simmons.
Now, I'm leading to this, and I want to talk about it after the break. Spurs sit with 18 guys under some sort of contractual obligation. Only 1 or 2 truly guaranteed, but they're little ones. Lots of money out there, lots of guys to have. I can see the way the wind is blowing. Ben Simmons has separated his contact. There's a big move in the works. Where do the Spurs play into this? We're going to talk about that. Don't forget, it is a Dallas Cowboy kind of a day. Football season has begun here at the Star, and it will go on at 6 o'clock as Ewald Kubota will bring you Dallas Cowboy coverage all season long, and it starts tonight at 6. We got your pregame going. Kick will be just after 7 o'clock. Football is here. We'll talk about that as well. But what are the Spurs going to do next? Halftime, we're digging into it. You're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Cowboys football is not a gentle game. That hurt. Cowboys football is not soft. Knock that chest off. Cowboys football is war. Just don't use that helmet as a weapon. When you want total Cowboys football coverage, get it here on the home of the Dallas Cowboys radio network. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Moe's. At Smoky Moe's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMoe'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Moe's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Now, Staples 2-pocket paper folders are just 15 cents. And comp books, 24-pack Crayola crayons, and 8 packs of Pep Rally No. 2 pencils are 50 cents each. So you won't just be ready for school, you'll be Prepared Parent of the Year ready.
I just want to thank my family and Staples for making this possible.
Visit your local Staples or staples.com/back to school and get more than ready for school. Ends 8/7. Limit 30 except no limit on pencils. Pocket folder offer in-store only.
Great news, Slackers. Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadoches, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Halftime. Grab an orange slice, sit down. We got something to talk about. Second half of the game is going to be key. Adjustments are key. He's Carl Schoening. I'm Rob Thompson. Almost got the chain for my name. We left you talking about the Spurs and a really interesting, if not morose and dark article in the Ringer today, written by, I want to make sure I get his name right, Jonathan Jarks. Not a pretty picture for the San Antonio Spurs. He paints a picture of a roster of a team that refused to just stop and rebuild and slowly tried to do it, getting mediocre and middling first-round draft picks and trying to find it, and they have been unable to find a Kawhi at 15. They're going to have to do it through the draft, though. Free agents aren't going to come. And it appears we're sitting on the precipice. Something is about to happen, a big deal in the NBA. I mean, it's not an Anthony Davis deal, but when you're dealing with Ben Simmons, it will tilt the power structure wherever he lands, especially if he leaves the East and lands in the West. Dame Lillard sitting in Tokyo, looking across the ocean and saying, Portland, they didn't do much. Now, they signed Norman Powell, and that's respect, but you do expect C.J. McCollum to be on the move. We hear today that Ben Simmons, who was spotted in L.A. over the weekend, Rudy saw him out at a club with all of his boys. He's Rich Paul represented, and only Rich Paul is talking with the Sixers. Sixers aren't talking to Ben Simmons anymore. So communication seems to be dropping. Spurs sit where they sit. We've already told you why. Golden State had dangled Kelly Oubre and a variety of picks and opportunity choices to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons, preparing for a future with him. Lauri Markkanen is still sitting out there with Chicago. No tender offer. You just feel like something is about to happen. And if the Spurs were going to be part of any move, we're going to have to get rid of starters. And we're talking about those two guards, DeJounte and Derek. But anybody else? And Carl asked me the question, and it's one we have to decide on, I guess. How important is Keldon Johnson to your future in San Antonio? Is he literally only untouchable? And if he is the only untouchable, is Ben Simmons the right match to come with him? Do you think Keldon and Ben Simmons would play well together in our limited time of seeing Keldon as an NBA player?
It's a tough question because Ben Simmons is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
He is a point guard. I know you were saying during the break you would have him as a 4, but he plays the Giannis Antetokounmpo role. He gets the ball and he gets to the rim and he scores.
Mm-hmm.
He also is one of the best defenders, if not the defensive player of the year next year. I think he should have been defensive player of the year this year. He was that great. He can guard 1 through 5 for the most part, within reason. He is somebody who can play with anybody, I think. You want to put Keldon out there as the 3, the 4? Ben Simmons is probably the 1. He could switch over to the 4 in a pinch pretty easily.
1 on offense.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he could guard ones.
I agree, but I love the idea of putting Ben Simmons out high on the pick and roll. Out high. Bring him out defending the 5.
As a ball handler?
No, I'm talking on defense.
Oh, defense. Oh.
He can switch or he can stay and defend anybody else. He can defend the 1 on the switch if he wants to. He can stay with the big and roll down with him. He is capable of doing both at a high level. I love the potential of having him on the modern NBA 6'9" and bouncy bigs that we're seeing more and more of. Ben can defend 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can put him out there and do that. Offensively, though, that's the problem. Because if we get Ben Simmons, he lives in the lane. He's just what you described. He's not the scorer that Antetokounmpo is, but he does live in the lane and he does get to the rim. So it looks like the Spurs were prepping for that. Allow him to get to the rim. If there's a bucket to be had, get it. And Pop will never turn down an easy 2, but make sure there's shooters on the outside. And there is no possible way that if Ben Simmons was to come, that we could line up a lineup that had Ben Simmons, Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. There is not enough baskets in the world there. There's no money there, no buckets.
Well, with everybody you just said, to actually make the trade work,
right,
a combination of those players would have
gone.
to go.
And
yes.
One of them would have to be DeJounte or Derek, and then others. We're giving up buckets when we need buckets. Now, Ben will add assists and a lot of other things. Where's the offense going to come? Are we putting Doug McDermott in a position to be the comeback player of the year, the recipient of all those drives and kicks, 5 threes a game, 20-point kind of guy?
At least 5 threes a game. If he starts, he might get up to 7 attempts a game.
For the Spurs, that would be record-setting. Imagine the Spurs averaging 7 threes a game, 7 attempts a game. Maybe we'll see it.
I can see it. With McDermott, yeah.
What if it's Portland?
That gets Ben Simmons?
What if in this grouping, C.J. McCollum is part of the Spurs get? That's the bucket, right? Don't we need to find buckets?
So you're moving on from DeMar DeRozan to get C.J. McCollum?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But they play a little bit differently.
I see what you mean in terms of three-point shooting being there.
If we're chasing offense, I think the team's pretty solid on defense. Defensively, the only thing we really don't see there is a rim protector.
Not Jakob?
Well, Jakob is inadequate. I'm not, in fact,
Block
by the
Pirtle?
numbers, better than average. But he's not intimidating. You're not afraid to go to the rim when you see Jakob Pirtle.
I've never drove on Jakob Pirtle. I don't know. But I know what you're getting at.
You look down the lane, and the only guy guarding the rim is Jakob Pirtle. You're going to take a dribble and see what happens. You look down the lane, and only guy you see down there is Rudy Gobert. You ain't going. I ain't going. It's not going to work out. It doesn't strike fear in you. But everything else, the wing defender, you got to get by those guys to get to him. So I think the Spurs are pretty happy with the team they put together. It seems the one thing we're lacking isn't Ben Simmons. It's buckets, offense. Where's it going to come from? C.J. McCollum is the most likely candidate there, or is it Kelly Oubre, who started slow last year but turned himself into a respectable guy? We might be looking in the wrong direction for where the Spurs are moving. I think there's a big deal happening, and I do think a lot of these players are moving, but I think it might be more offensively generated, and it won't be as expensive as we think.
That's the thing. How much are you willing to give up for whoever it is that's coming in? I decided to pull it up because this offseason reminds me of the offseason in 2012 when Dwight Howard was part of a 4-team trade.
Mm-hmm.
Iguodala was in on that move. Andrew Bynum was on the move. Dwight Howard. The Nuggets actually gave up the fewest named players, Aaron Aflalo and Al Harrington, plus a second-round pick. So is there a 4-team trade that gives all of these guys that we've been talking about a change of scenery? Because as much as we talk about the Warriors having the pieces, I think Steve Kerr likes his team. Do you want to bring on somebody like Ben Simmons to just mess everything up that we've been building towards?
I think if they brought in Ben Simmons, he would take over for Draymond.
Draymond Green would have to be part of any Ben Simmons trade, I imagine. Salary-wise, skill position-wise, what he brings to the table. I don't think the Warriors do that. I think the Warriors have what they want and what they need, and they're bringing back Klay Thompson. They have Steph Curry. Don't throw a wild card like Ben Simmons in there. I see the alternate side of you want to get as many good players as possible. But I think the Warriors are out of it unless there's an easy enough deal that involves an Andrew Wiggins, if you will. Wiggins is expendable on that roster.
I believe he is.
For Ben Simmons.
You look at the starting lineup, and that's with the expectation of Klay Thompson appearing at some point, and Wiseman getting well as well. But Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Green, and Wiseman, that's a championship-level team. But we're dealing with health and a lot of guys. I like the way that they brought in Otto Porter. I think that they're in it, but they're not going to be the key here. It's Portland. They did not go through what they went through to just sign Norman Powell. They didn't go and fire their coach and Terry Stotts. They didn't go and deal with the mess that they did to go get Chauncey Billups and his history just to, in preparation for the next season, to line up with essentially what they had. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Jusuf Nurkic. That's the starting lineup we see. With no changes, Dame's going to want out. He's going to look at this and go, this is not enough. This will be my last year here. Unless you can get me out now. I think that any deal being made, it all hinges with Portland. I think Philly would be happy if they couldn't trade Ben Simmons. They'd say, we couldn't move you. Come on back. We'll figure it out. But Philly's Philly. They'll get stars. Portland loses Dame. It's over. They're just like San Antonio. We cannot lose them. I think they are the ones that are looking to make the deal. We're going to put a bow on it. Look forward to the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Fame game. Don't forget, we're taking you directly into the Texas Rangers' next loss against the but Hope Springs Eternal. Hold on tight. It's halftime, and this is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Texas Rangers baseball.
The 0-1. Joey looks to bunt toward third. Nobody there. Base hit, Joey Gallo.
Texas Rangers baseball happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I'm James Pledger, and in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs are now 0-2 in Salt Lake City Summer League play, falling 78-54 to the Utah Jazz blue team. Devin Vassell and Josh Primo both played after missing the opener, as Vassell led the way with 14 points and 7 rebounds, while Primo scored 11 in the loss. The Spurs will close out the Utah Summer League play tomorrow at 6 when they take on the Grizzlies. Speaking of the Spurs, general manager Brian Wright continues to deal as he got in on what was expanded to a 5-team deal in the Westbrook to LA draft night deal, as the Spurs received forward Chandler Hutchison and a 2022 second-round pick from the Washington Wizards. In other basketball news, Team USA is advanced into the gold medal game for the 4th straight time as they beat Australia 97-78. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
At Lowe's, we know your home is an expression of you, and we see you walking down these aisles of possibility, running your finger on that marble top Allen & Roth vanity, regularly $5.99, but now $3.49, and finding that perfect rattan pendant at an everyday low price of $99.98. In our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into at a price you'll really get into. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 8/29/21. U.S. only.
Wendy's only makes one kind of breakfast, your new favorite one. How do we do it? With fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, and flaky croissants. You know, the things your old breakfast wasn't doing. So toss that old news and its soggy eggs somewhere useful. And get to Wendy's, where the sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant, and honey butter chicken biscuit are just 2 for $4. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $4.
Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, get them fixed. Hi, Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they come to you to fix your brakes. We're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get it the next day. That is the beauty of New Brakes. They come to you. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes, so you won't get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour. They use premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go to nubrakes.com. Schedule that repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. You need your brakes done? Get them done with New Brakes. You continue to do what you do while New Brakes fixes your brakes, and they're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Dallas Cowboys kick off the NFL preseason against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Hall of Fame game. Tonight, coverage starts at 6 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Keyshawn Johnson. San Antonio Sports Stars get you moving every morning. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Halftime. Grab your gear. We got to hit the field. Second half's getting started. The Blitz will get going at 4 with Jason Minix. He'll get you going for the Cowboy game. It'll be brought to you by Ewald Kubota. Not a lot to look forward to with the Cowboys tonight other than the fact we'll see the silver and blue on a football field, which is enough. No Dak Prescott. We expect to see Garrett Gilbert and the Nooch play at quarterback. They're minus 2 offensive tackles and a guard. They won't have Amari Cooper. We do think that we'll see some Zeke. At least he's there.
My favorite Cowboy, if I'm allowed to have a favorite Cowboys and Eagles fan, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
He'll make Garrett Gilbert look good.
You know, I've always been a firm believer that great quarterbacks make average wide receivers look a whole lot better. A great wide receiver can only bring up a quarterback a little bit. Only a little bit, the other way around, but he will have to bring him up tonight. I want to see CeeDee Lamb. The highlight of camp, without any hesitation, was 1, watching the defense fly to the ball, and 2, watching CeeDee Lamb. This guy going to pay dividends immediately. I have a feeling we'll see it tonight if he gets enough reps. Defense is going to be huge. Now, we can see Micah Parsons run around. You can see Jabril tonight. You can see a little bit of Trayvon Diggs. You can see Kennedy and Kazee and all these guys that are supposed to be flying the ball. I cannot wait to see what this defense looks like.
How many new draft picks is it? I think it was 8 of the 11 draft picks were on the defensive side of the ball. The first 6 selections the Cowboys made in this year's draft were defense.
The promise was made to Dan Quinn. We'll stock up the cupboard if you'll come and coach. Because if things go south, you're probably the next head coach, so we'll make sure you've got everything you need. The Cowboys will be playing the Steelers tonight live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. It's always brought to you by Ewald Kubota. Pre-game at 6. Get you going a little after 7. Jason, I'm sure, will have you fully prepared by the time the Blitz goes off. Steelers are going to be interesting to watch because they're certainly in their transition time. Ben decided to come back for 1 more year after coming off his worst statistical year. But heck, you know, they started the season pretty hot. That's still a very good football team despite the changes. Najee Harris is going to be fun to watch tonight for you fantasy football types.
Hey, Dwayne Haskins out there, probably going to get the start.
Is it going to be Dwayne going to get the start? It's not going to be
what's
punching bag?
What does he say? Oh, Rudolph. Mason Rudolph will get the start.
Punching bag, Mason Rudolph. I was going to Mason, an adequate fill. Not well liked, I would imagine.
Well, I thought Ben was going to retire, maybe think about it, and then they draft Mason Rudolph, and he's like, nope, I'm sticking around as long as I can. That's funny how when your replacement comes on in, you get new energy.
Mason Rudolph won't be replacing anybody. You know what I mean?
Not after all this.
They realized that was going to be a mistake, and Roethlisberger shed a bunch of weight and got himself ready. This is the last full day that we will be talking about football in the past tense.
That's true.
We'll have seen a recent game, and we'll make sure we get it completely covered for you tomorrow. In the Olympic count, they're winding down. We lost the 4x100 last night.
Carl Lewis didn't seem happy.
Carl is not happy, and he shouldn't be. I know the Jamaicans are fast, and I know the Canadians can field a team, but my goodness, that's just about teamwork. You're going to tell me the 4 fastest guys we put together out of the United States couldn't come up better than 6th? And we didn't even drop the baton. We just didn't run very well. And the awkward thing about last night was after they lost, that humiliating loss, they tried to interview him.
Ooh.
They tried to interview him, and it didn't go well. Everybody's pissed. I mean, everybody's mad, and they were going to try to interview one by one. After the first one, you could tell the producer back in the booth said, "This is brutal. This is rough." Did y'all check out the shot put yesterday?
Yeah, Longhorn won. if I'm not mistaken.
That was Oregon State, wasn't it? The world record the world record holder held on to it. I like the way that it was described, the way the shot put was described. It was like pushing a metal ball through a pinhole. I never thought of it that way.
That's why I was bad at shot put.
That's why I never could pick it up. You pick up a 16-pound ball and throw it 75 feet. Impressive nonetheless. This is halftime for sure, but there's a lot more game left. We'll see you on the Blitz at 4. You're on San Antonio Sports Star.
Rangers on the radio.
Here's the pitch and the ground ball left side. Diving Culberson, he's got it. Throws to second in time for the force on Walsh.
It's San Antonio's favorite addiction.
And there's a high drive, well hit left center field. Way back at the wall, Lewis